Hey there, welcome to this episode of the Healthy Church Staff Podcast. I'm Todd Rhoades, your host for today, and one of the co-founders over at chemistrystaffing.com. Today we're going to talk about the kind of the unsung heroes, at least I think. These are volunteers. These are the people that show up week after week. They're giving their time and their talents and their energy to serve God and others. And let's be real, we couldn't do what we do as a church without volunteers. And leading volunteers can sometimes feel like we're trying to herd cats in a hurricane. You need them, they're essential, but wrangling them, keeping them engaged, and ensuring that they're actually contributing positively to your ministry, that's a whole other thing. We're going to talk today a little bit about how to transform your volunteer program from this chaotic vortex into a well-oiled machine. I don't know that we can make it well-oiled all the time, but here are some tips I think that will help you not only attract and retain volunteers, but also help you have volunteers that feel empowered and serve with joy. Okay, so 7 things here I'm going to go through really quick here that I think will help if you're having trouble attracting and retaining your volunteers. Number 1, cast a compelling vision. Don't just volunteer just to fill a slot. And I see this so often in churches. Hey, we need 3 people to work in the nursery, or we need 2 people to do this, or 1 person to do that, or do you have Wednesdays open? We have this. It's a slot. People don't want to fill a slot. They want to be a part of something meaningful. So if you can, when you can, and try to whenever you can, always do if you can, clearly communicate the impact that their service is going to have on individuals, on the church, on the community. Show them that their contribution makes a real difference, and it's not just filling a slot. And how do you know if you're doing this? If you're asking people to fill slots, it's usually because you're asking people pretty blatantly to fill slots. So if your main goal in getting someone to volunteer is to fill an opening, you're probably not casting a real compelling vision. So take a look at that. That's first and foremost. Okay. Number 2, how easy is it to be a volunteer at your church? Streamline your onboarding process. First impressions matter. Make it easy for volunteers to get started with a smooth onboarding process that gives them clear expectations, that gives them a good training and support. How many times do you hear volunteers say, they just threw me in here and didn't really give me any instructions? That's one way to make sure that they don't volunteer again. So make sure you streamline the process, give them the training and the support that they need. Number 3, create a culture of appreciation. Remember, these people are volunteering. They don't need to do this. They've got a 40-hour, 50-hour, 60-hour a week job, and they're actually giving time to the church and to the Lord. So appreciate them. Say thank you early and often and genuinely. Celebrate when they just knock it out of the park. Man, we all have people in our churches that are just regular. They're volunteers and they're regularly just absolutely hitting it out of the park. Celebrate that. Recognize their contributions. And this is going to help volunteers feel valued and appreciated for a long time to come. Number 4, match their talents. Not everyone is cut out to volunteer in every role. Assess your volunteers' skills and passions and match them up with tasks that align with their strengths. And sometimes you just have to ask. And sometimes the thing that they volunteer for, really, they're just trying to be helpful. It might not be their thing, but you need to dive in, get to know the person, and make sure that you can align them with not just what, not to fill a slot, but align them with areas that they're interested in, align them with areas that they're skilled in, and most of all, align them in areas that they're passionate about. That will, if they feel like they're making a huge contribution and doing something they enjoy, that's a huge step along the way to getting a really satisfied volunteer. Number 5, empower and equip. Give volunteers, as we said, give them the training and the resources that they need. Give them the autonomy that they need as well. Trust them to do their jobs and give them opportunities to grow and develop their skills in these areas. A great volunteer is an equipped and an empowered volunteer. Okay? Number 6, volunteers need to feel that they're a part of a community. So foster community as much as you can. Volunteering should be fun, and it should be fulfilling. So create opportunities for volunteers to connect with each other, to build relationships, and to really experience that sense of belonging that will make a volunteer really stick and feel valuable. And then just the last one, this almost goes without saying, but provide that ongoing support. Regularly check in with your volunteers, offer encouragement, feedback, address any concerns or challenges that they may be facing, but provide that ongoing support. Because here's the bottom line in this. Volunteers are the backbone of your church, but they won't stick around if they feel undervalued or they feel underappreciated or unappreciated or unsupported. These strategies, I think, will help you hopefully create a volunteer program that not only attracts and retains talented people, but also empowers them to serve with joy and passion and purpose. And if you're listening to this on the day it was recorded, today's Friday, man, we got a weekend coming up, and you're going to be working with volunteers. What can you learn from these 7 steps? What can you do even this weekend to pat somebody on the back and say, hey, thanks for what you're doing. I'm telling you, it makes a world of difference. Remember, volunteers aren't just free labor. We couldn't do it without them. They are really our partners in ministry. They're co-laborers in the gospel, and we need to treat them as such. And when we do, man, our weekend and our churches will flourish. Hope you have a great weekend. We'll be right back here on Monday with a brand new episode of the Healthy Church Staff Podcast. Hope you'll join us then.